candidate like you wouldn't even make it into the primaries. I'm exhausted. I'm tired and exhausted, just like the American democracy. We've spent the last 48 hours reaching out to an American democracy that's in steep decline. And what did we get? What did we learn? We learned that America is afraid to reach out, afraid to open its eyes to a new vision. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the Republicans. I feel sorry for the Democrats. I feel sorry for Blue Bush. I feel sorry for America. I feel sorry for everyone, especially you, the voters, all 77 million of you out there. Blue Bush is a generous gesture. We reach out, but in the end I see it was a misguided notion. Who would have thought that you could launch a candidacy for the presidency of the United States on a motto, vote or don't, based on the simple idea that it's all mailed in, the results are all sent in, signed, sealed, and delivered before you even get a chance to cast your vote. That was the whole point of Blue Bush, to just reach out to the American populace, try to shake up the citizenry, try to put some participation back in our democracy. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. What have I learned? I've learned maybe we've got the democracy we deserve. We looked to George Washington at his Mount Vernon estate. We thought some of his inspiration from 200 plus years ago would rub off and there would be some interest in Blue Bush. All we found there was the chopped cherry tree of democracy. We followed our quest to the Lincoln Memorial. All we discovered was Abe, seated in the position, the posture of America. The posture of America where people just sit in the comfort of their own living rooms and their barca lounges. They sit on the cushioned comfort of their, how should I put this? They sit on the cushioned comfort of their living room sofa and their barca lounges, casting their votes in the TV democracy, clickers in hand. The only thing missing on that great sculpture of Lincoln today was a clicker. The revolution of the 60s, as personified by Abe Lincoln, has gone up in smoke in in front of our very eyes. We looked at the politicians coming across the Potomac. We saw them changed almost instantly upon arrival. The preparation that went into this was amazing. You've only seen some of the campaign footage of our documentary of what happened when we were out trying to bring the message of Blue Bush to the people. We sent out hundreds of faxes, hundreds of phone follow-up. We alerted the media, the embassies, over 10,000 trade and professional associations headquartered in Washington, D.C. Imagine the disappointment indeed, the disappointment I felt as I stood there in front of the Washington Monument with my grand vision about to be articulated to an audience of hundreds of thousands of motivated, newly energized Blue Bush voters. And what did I get? My audience consisted of a man, a woman, and a pile of trash in the middle. But still we pressed on. We reached out to the international community. We contacted every embassy, every trade consulate, many of the offices of governments the American people don't even recognize. The only appointment we could garner was with a trade representative from an African country who ultimately phoned us after the interview and decided they didn't want to be mentioned in the final analysis. In essence, they pulled the plug on the support that was promised to us on the steps of the Capitol. Who can blame the international contingent? Once again, like the good congressmen, senators, appointees, presidents and vice presidents who crossed that river, they all come from points far away with one thought in mind: to transfer an enormous, massive amount of wealth and power into their own pockets while creating a democratic sideshow of which none of us truly understand. The winds of change are blowing through our democracy. Americans are still so brave, but are we really free? It's time for a new vision of what we all could be. I've seen into the future, and it looks a lot like me. Blue bush, that's the party for me. Blue bush, from sea to shining sea. It's time to change the system where every nominee's the new face of a family elected previously. It's time the new breeze blows them back to Texas and Tennessee. Let's start the new millennium with a blue bush presidency. Blue bush, that's the party for me. Blue bush, from sea to shining sea. Blue bush, that's the party for me. Blue bush, I've seen into the future, and it looks a lot like me. Blue bush.
Vote or don't, baby. It's all the same to me.